Hi and welcome, Mark Haynes here, we're here today with Paul Williams, both senior teaching professionals with the Mark York Golf Academy, and we're in our state-of-the-art putting studio today here at Horn Park. Now if you're watching this and you're interested in lowering your scores or lowering the number of putts you take during a round, or maybe you're considering buying a new putter and you're wondering whether it's worth having your putter custom fit and what custom fitting is all about, maybe you've never even heard of it, and maybe you're even wondering whether it's worth you having your putter fitted for your standard. So if this sounds familiar or this sounds like you, then I guarantee what we're going to got for you today is going to be fantastic and you're going to love it. I can tell you from personal experience, and I'm sure Paul can as well, actually seeing my own clients come into the studio and use the systems we've got here, and how much of an impact that can have on their putting. You know, I've seen people go from sort of 45 side spin down to 4, which you might not know what that means at the moment, but I can tell you that's going to make a massive difference to your putts rolling better and staying on line. So what we're going to run you through today is we're going to give you a fly on the wall experience of me going through some of this process using the ball roll analysis system we've got and the biomechanics software. Now you might not know what that means at this stage, but what we're going to do is going to make some more videos for you that we'll put the link to under this to give you more detail on the whole fitting process, so how the ball roll works, how the biomechanics works, some of the stroke analysis we can do, some of the different putters, and the whole the whole fitting process we go through here. So if you've got any questions at all, there's going to be some more videos to look at, so definitely go and check those out. Okay, let's get started. I'm actually really looking forward to this because I've never used the biomechanics software before. I've been on the ball roll and generally my putting's not too bad, so I can kind of get the ball rolling okay, but I'd really be interested to see how my body's working and what that's doing in my putting stroke. So let's get going. Okay, Paul's just set me up with some sensors on my shoulder, my head and on my putter here. So Paul, what are they actually going to do?
Well, these are trace sensors which are light reflective, so the software will pick up the 5 points we've got. You can actually record up to 21 points, depending on how detailed you want to go in the movement of the body and the putter. But we've specifically set one on the toe of the putter, on the butt of the putter, on Mark's left and right shoulder, and on top of his head, so we can see how these are actually moving during the stroke. We're going to be looking for 3 factors. We'll be looking at the distance that all the points are moving, the rates of velocity they're moving at, and also the rate of acceleration.
Cool, excellent, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Let's give it a go. Okay, I've hit a few putts on the biomechanics system and I'll just let Paul talk you through what we're actually seeing on the screen here.
Okay, so we've loaded in the 5 trace markers. So we've got the toe of the putter, we've got the butt of the putter, we've got the right shoulder and we've got the left shoulder and the head. So we can trace this through and watch the distance each particular part is moving, the velocity with which it's moving, and also the acceleration with which it's moving, and we can compare it to the other points in the stroke. So as we move back, you can see the trace here, tracking each individual marker, picking up the velocity, picking up the acceleration patterns. So we can quickly determine here at what point anything's moving out of sequence, locate the origin of that problem, and then go about finding the solution.
Okay, so what I've done here for you is we've put on a common problem that we'd see when coaching or when we get people in the putting studio here, is that people come with this kind of setup problem. So where the hands and the shaft lean quite a long way back and the body's kind of at the wrong angle, that inverted a little bit. And then the concept of what I was trying to stay to or make my stroke to here was trying to keep the putter very straight back and keep the putter face very square and then deliver it very square and get the whole stroke in a very, very straight line. So I'll just let Paul take you through what we've got here.
And as Mark said, this is definitely a common misconception amongst many golfers, is to try to keep the putter face square to the target line for as long as possible. The problem with that is you can't actually do that unless you manipulate your body.
Okay, I've hit 4 or 5 putts on the system, on the ball roll analysis system, and this is what the screen would look like. And then I'm just going to get Paul to run you through what these numbers at the top here mean, which are the main things we look at when we're fitting a putter and trying to get the ball rolling as good as possible for you.
So when we go into the summary screen, the two main areas we're looking at is any side spin that could be on the putt, and then also what the launch angle of the putt is, because those are the two factors that are going to have the most influence on how the ball rolls, and all the other data on the screen is relative to that. So looking over at side spins, we're looking to try and get green figures initially, or optimally, which are going to be anything under 10 revolutions of spin, won't have any effect on the ball roll. And looking over at the launch angles, our optimum launch is going to be somewhere between 1 and 2 degrees ideally. That's enough to get the ball forward rotating without any jumping.
So the top one there, where I've got 40 hook spin, I tried to emulate the hands back and the reverse setup that we showed you earlier on, and that's the kind of figures we got there. So that can clearly show what kind of figures and what effect that can have on your putting. And then this is also the actual video of what the ball's doing. Just run that back again for us, Paul, please. So this is one of the other screens and readouts that we get more actually on the studio, where you can see what the ball actually does. Now, if you watch closely here, you're going to see the ball actually chip up into the air. Now, a lot of golfers actually do this. So the ball's just coming off the putter face, and it's starting to actually leave the ground, and then you're going to see it land just about there. So the ball's actually sort of jumped 7 inches or so. Now it's going to bounce again. So this whole time the ball can't really roll correctly, and this is one of the key things when you're having your putter fitted, is that we combine that with a reasonable setup position and get the right putter, then we can get the ball launching at the right angles with the right spin, which we use this screen again for, and then that's going to get your best roll on the ball and potentially hold you even more putts. Okay, so after the ball roll analysis, we look at the stroke and tracking the putter and what the stroke's actually doing. So there's normally multiple angles that we look at what the stroke and tracking the stroke is doing. So this is just one of the angles.
Okay, so I've had my ball roll analysed, which just showed up that I was getting a little bit too much hook spin on my putts. We've tracked the putter, and that matched up with that. That showed that the toe of the putter was off the ground slightly, so the base of the putter wasn't flat against the floor, and that's what was giving me the hook spin. And we put that together with my biomechanics, or how my body was moving, and we're pretty happy with my setup and how I was moving in general. It wasn't too bad. So then the thing, for me and for my putter and what I actually do, what we need to change is how the lie of the putter sits. So Paul's just going to change the lie on the putter for me here.
So we've got the loft and lie machine here, which is digital down and accurate down to 1/4 degree. So the lie angle he was using at the putter was 72. We've measured him in our fitting process, and we now need to know he's actually going to be at 70 degrees. So that's going to be a case of just bending the putter just to get that exactly where we need it at 70.
Spot on. First time.
Take one.
Not bad.
Yeah, so now that will help to reduce the hook spin, because when the toe is up, that can cause the hook spin.
Okay, so I'm going to try that again on the ball roll system now, and let's see what the data says.
Right, so after changing the lie angle on my putter, we retested on the ball roll software, and we can see we've actually got all green figures now. So I've got the hook spin down. That's just into 3 of cut, and the ball started rotating forward pretty much straight away, and then the launch angle was good at 1 degree as well. So that's it, perfect. So that's nailed it. All green figures is really what we're looking for. So that suggests that my putter's fitted perfectly, and I'm good to go. I'm ready to hold some more putts. Okay, so that's my putter fitted up. That's good to go. So I'm just going to let Paul recap on the assessment process that we've run through here today.
Yeah, so when Mark came in the studio today, the first thing we did was have a look to see exactly how the ball's rolling. We then tracked the putter from a couple of different angles to see what the putter's doing in the stroke. We then relate that back to the biomechanics to see exactly how the putter and the body are both moving during the stroke. We then identified that we needed to take Mark through the fitting process to actually get his putter to be slightly flatter, to reduce any hook spin that he had on his putts, and now he's pretty much good to go.
Okay, so just so you're nice and clear, if you're coming into the studio for an assessment process, we need to go through the ball roll first, then we're looking at tracking the stroke and what the putter's doing, then go to biomechanics and body movement, and then finally into the actual fitting process. Okay, so next we're going to look at what the actual fitting process is in more detail. So check out those videos, there'll be a link to those videos below here, below this one somewhere. So go and check those out, I'm sure you're going to like those. Got some more great information for you.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.